Omid, is that how you say it?
That's exactly how you say it.
I'm sure in school, like, was it Omid?
Ahmed is like someone doesn't know what they're saying, and then Omid is just someone saying the worst sounding word. Who would ever name their kid Omid?
I don't know.
Like mid? No, it just doesn't make any sense. But Omid, it just sounds so much better.
It totally does.
When it's pronounced correctly.
And I appreciate Jenna for hyphenating it for me. Thank you. So, yes. Thank you, man. I appreciate you coming down here. I think we're going to laugh a little bit today.
Absolutely. Yeah, anytime.
So I hear that you are a fellow podcaster yourself.
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of a dabbler in the game, you know. I've started a few podcasts that haven't gone anywhere, and then I've started a few other podcasts that went somewhere and then, you know, didn't go anywhere after that. Podcasting is it's a battle.
Yeah, it is. So you didn't sell your show for $100 million like our good friend Rogan?
Not like Rogan, yeah.
No?
But I made a podcast that would love to have Rogan as a guest someday, you as a guest someday.
Okay.
I'm more about bringing people together and playing games. That's my role I figured out in this world.
What a great transition.
Dun, dun,
it's
dun.
like you've seen the script here.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, well, speaking of games, we're going to play our first game. I think we got a couple games that we're going to play today if you're up for it.
Who's not? I mean, it's Friday morning. I don't know when you're listening to this podcast, but right now it's Friday morning or Friday afternoon.
It's basically Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay, so since we've never met before, this is our first time meeting, and we are in person. We're not on Zoom squares right now. Some people listening might not know that. But this is a game called 10 Things in Common.
Great.
Have you ever played this game?
Never played this game.
Pretty self-explanatory. So what we're going to do is producer Jenna over there is going to put 3 minutes on the clock, and we'll take turns asking questions. And the goal is to find 10 things that we both have in common.
Easy.
Simple, right?
Simple.
We should be able to knock that out of the park.
Easy.
All right. So are you ready? 3, 2, 1. You go first.
We both like women.
Simple.
One.
Got it like that. Yep. Have you been to Las Vegas?
I've worked in Las Vegas. I've been to Las Vegas.
Okay.
We've both been on a cruise ship.
I have.
Boom.
Except you probably performed. I was just there as a guest.
Still counts.
We both live in California, right? You're from here?
That's 4.
Okay.
We both like sushi.
I don't like sushi.
Oh, so close.
Do you have children?
No children. Sushi and children. That's where that would be our cop names if we were a cop buddy duo. Sushi, you're sushi, I'm children.
That's right.
That's hilarious. Okay, we need 6 more to go. Both like beer?
I like beer.
Boom.
Yeah. Do you like fast cars?
Yes.
Awesome.
Play poker?
I do, not professionally, but I play.
That's
so
fine.
We'll count that.
That counts. Okay, these are all easy dude stuff. Let's see if we can get harder than this.
Exactly.
One, right?
Favorite football team?
The Jets.
The Jets. I'm more of a Giants guy. Sorry about that, but
okay.
yeah.
Both have one parent that's still alive.
That's right.
Oh, nailed it.
Wow. That is right. Yes.
How much time do we have left?
You went to... Have you ever been in improv?
Yes.
Of course. I knew that.
Have you been in improv?
I have.
Okay,
yep.
that's the easy one. And then the last one, we both drank before we were 21.
Damn. That's a winner.
There we go.
That's a winner. Wow. See?
10.
Just like that.
The only things we don't have in common is sushi and children.
Yes. So we won't take our kids to go eat sushi together. Right?
There we go.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for playing along. Imagine like just kind of meeting somebody random and be like, hey, let's play this game to get to know each other. Be a little weird.
It's a good festival game.
Right?
It's a good thing you meet somebody at like a music festival and you don't know them at all.
Yeah.
Quickly. Yeah, you just like are waiting in line for like a drink. But you're going to play this game real quick.
I like it.
It's a good one.
I'm going to try it.
I would do it.
I'm going to try it. All right. So I got to ask you because you chose a career or the career chose you. I don't know, one or the other. That's a little tough to break into.
Yeah.
And so, well, tell everybody, what do you do for a living?
I'm an astronaut. It's very difficult Man, the testing itself is just different. Have you ever put on an astronaut suit? Uncomfortable.
I appreciate you wearing one here today.
You're welcome. I mean, I thought I was coming to the podcast. I want to represent my my dreams.
There's our improv kicking ourselves in. Yeah.
I think stand-up is what you're referring to.
Right.
And I chose stand-up because improv chose me in high school. My sister was an improviser when she was a junior, and I was an 8th grader. So I would go to high school on a Thursday night at like 7. I'd go to her high school and watch her and her friends perform.
Cool.
And I would watch 300 students laughing at these 4 improvisers on stage. And then I'd go home and I'd see whose line is it anyway. So I equated, if you start in high school doing improv, you'll end up on whose line is it anyway. So I was like, that's what I want to do. So I started doing improv in high school. Then I moved to I did the comedy sports program. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's like a competitive high school improv troupe across a bunch of Southern California high schools. Did that, did the college team for a year. Then I moved to New York where I studied at Upright Citizens Brigade.
Yeah,
UCB
we've had a student on the show before. Yeah,
I did that, did all 4 of the classes, applied for their advanced study, and they didn't let me in, which was very unfortunate. And then I just chose stand-up and then ran with it until today.
So you grew up in California?
I grew up in 2 places mostly. Like Dubai was like 1st through 4th grade.
Okay.
Then we stopped in Katy, Texas for a year, and then we moved to Irvine.
What the heck was going on in Katy, Texas?
Katy, Texas was like our buffer, I believe. We knew like another family that lived outside of Houston, and my dad was like, let's go back to the States, but we weren't ready to move back to California. My parents lived in Chicago before California too, so they didn't want to go there. They didn't want to move to California. I think it was just like a transitional year for us, really. So we went to Katy, Texas. Maybe we were thinking we were going to stay longer than a year. That might have also been going through my parents' minds, like, oh, maybe we'll. They bought a house. They tried to do it.
They were all in. Yeah,
they were all in. Yeah, and then they're like, no, we're all out. Like, let's get out of here. We just packed up the Honda Passport and drove from Katy to Irvine, and then
big difference.
That was it.
Yeah. And we're going to get a little bit into your origin story, but so moving to New York, wow, that was a pretty bold move.
Yeah, I mean, I had to get out of California after high school, not because I had to, but I just wanted to, and I went on Craigslist and I saw this long-term student hostel in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, and I told my parents, I was like, I just want to go here, and they were like, fine. And they let me.
How old were you?
I was 18, yeah.
Is that right?
I was 18. I was pretending I was a transfer student from UCLA. I was pretending that was what I was doing. I was spending like a year abroad or something like that. In
that's
New
what
York.
you told the people that you met there, right?
In the hostel, just to be like, so I could get into this hostel.
Sure.
So this student hostel. And so I did that, and then I ended up working at the hostel, stayed in New York for a little bit longer, ended up being there for 4 years, and then left.
So it's interesting that you say that, because I've got a son, and that's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to go to college right away. He's an artist as well, right? He did the acting thing. Now he's doing some music stuff. And I asked him what he wants to do, and he wants to move to New York right out of high school. He graduates this year, and he just wants to go there and just kind of try to live in New York. So what, any regrets or?
No regrets. No regrets at all. You got to try. I think you're so young and you have so much spirit at that age.
Yeah.
That being held back is just impossible. You kind of just want to move forward. I have a little nephew. He's like almost 2. And I see it in him every day. You can't stop him. You can't stop this kid from doing whatever he wants to do. Like if you're like, no, don't throw that, and he's holding it, he's like, he's going to throw it. He wants to throw it.
Yeah.
I think you just got to let people do what it is they want to do and hope for the best, encourage, and see how far they can go. Some people can explode. Some people can do really, really well with a little bit of space and some dreams.
Yeah. So, flashback, right? You're like in 5th grade, right? And so I guess you would have been living
Katy.
where? You were in Katy in 5th grade.
First time I got up on stage.
Got it.
Which is funny that you said that, yeah.
And so in class, right, you crack a joke, right? And the teacher's like, oh, we got a comedian in the class, don't we, huh? So was that you? Were you the class clown? No.
I was not the class clown.
Really?
I'll tell you what happened. So it's 5th grade. We're in Katy, Texas. I just moved to this place. I went from being one of a lot of brown kids in a school in Dubai to being the brown kid in Katy.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to make friends, and we had a talent show coming up. And I was like, sweet, I'm going to do a dance for this talent show.
Okay.
So I choreographed a dance to Blink-182's All the Small Things.
A dance to Blink-182.
All the Small Things. You know, it was a banger at the time. And like it had this line like, she left me roses by the stairs.
Yes.
And so I had my friend Bobby fling me a bouquet of roses at that line, and then surprises let me know she cares. I threw the bouquet into the audience, and the girl who had just moved from Russia caught it. It was made. It was like a perfect moment. And this was the audition to get into the talent show.
Oh, just to get in.
Just to get in. So everybody did their dances. Everybody sang their songs. We're all in this auditorium doing the auditions. And then our music teacher was like, okay, now go to your cubbies. If you have a red tag, you're in the talent show. I go to my cubby, no red tag. And I killed my dance. My dance was so good. I was like, what the hell, teacher? And I went up to her. I was like, how did you not put me in the talent show? She goes, no, Omid, I want you to host the talent show.
Oh.
So I got to host it. So that was the first time on stage. Was like everyone was sitting down, and I walked out and I cracked a joke. My sister was in the crowd too. Like the kids from the middle school came to the elementary school to watch the talent show in the afternoon. And I cracked a joke, and I saw a bunch of people laughing. And then after that day, I became the kid who talks. So everybody be like, there's the kid who talks. Like if anybody like had an announcement to make, they're like, that's the kid who talks. So they would just like give me pieces of paper to like say out loud to kids. And that's basically how it started. That music teacher in Katy.
So cool. And I read something about you that
it's not true. I swear.
It's
I'm 5'10".
We have something in common, right? So when I was a kid, right, I would go to bed and I'd watch the David Letterman show, right? And I thought, man, what a cool job this guy has, right? I'm like, I would love to have his job when I get older, right? So that was kind of always a dream of mine. And kind of now I'm interviewing interesting people. I just don't have the notoriety that he has. But tell me a little bit more. So was that the reason why you
still
wanted?
The dream, yeah.
Is that right?
The dream is, well, for me, it was, Letterman was hilarious, but Leno was the Tonight Show for me.
Okay.
So Letterman was like the edgy, funny, like, whoa, this guy is weird and like cool. But I didn't appreciate that because Leno was just so loud. And Leno was just that guy who walks up and he's got Kevin Eubanks playing the guitar. And it's like, that was the show. So I was like, I want to host this fun party that happens every weeknight.
Yes.
I want to host the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
I still want to host the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, I think it would be so fun. I would love to walk out, do a monologue, go sit down, talk to 2 guests for 6 minutes, 7 minutes. Be awesome. And then have a musical guest? Yes.
It doesn't get better than that.
No, I think it's a lot of work, and I think people probably hate you after a while, and you probably hate yourself after a while, and it's tough, like every day producing that show. But I think I'm built for it. I think I'm okay with it. The years of stand-up has just put me in the mood to want to always be working. Like sometimes when I'm not doing a show, I'm just like pissed. I'm like tired. I'm like, what's going on? Like, why am I not working? Why am I just hanging out at home?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think there is a level of stress for like, Jimmy Kimmel, now the new, because they have big shoes to fill, right? They had big shoes to fill.
I mean, it's all the marketing and stuff like that, right? It depends on how much money they're bringing in for, like, say, the Tonight Show for GE and stuff like that to be able to keep it going. And I think that's the hardest part. It's like making everybody happy across the board. I love the show with the Larry Sanders Show.
Oh, yeah,
Did you ever watch that? So good.
Yeah. No, I think it's good. So I wonder if it was harder, like if you think back, right? Like you got the David Letterman and the Jay Leno, right? You got the Johnny Carson era before that.
Yeah.
Now you got the Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, like, the modern one. I always wonder, like, is it harder, like, to gain market share when there was only so many networks, right? Or was it harder now to gain market share because now you have like social media? So like, which one was easier to gain more market share? What do you think?
Well, if you're Carson, it's easy
because there was only so many channels, right?
Yeah, if you're Johnny Carson, it's super easy. But if you're any of his competitors, I bet it was pretty hard back in the day to take any of his viewers.
Yeah.
But here today, I think you're right. Everything's just split. Everything's like 1%. You can just basically watch whatever you want all the time. I think Carson, he didn't have it. I mean, he was just built for that time. He was made for that show. So he did it for so long. And
yeah,
I think it's probably a little harder today.
Yeah. I was watching, did you see Kim Kardashian on Saturday Night Live?
She crushed, yeah.
She did a good job, right?
Yeah.
One of the lines that stood out with me that was pretty impactful was when she says, you know, I want to thank Lauren and the whole crew here at Saturday Night Live for having me on the show. Normally, I don't talk to audiences that broadcast to only 10 million people. I'm used to broadcasting to 300 million people on my platform, right? Yeah. It's so true.
She's so true, yeah.
Right?
It was completely true.
Uh-huh.
That's why for her, it was such a walk in the park. Sometimes, like even, she just crushed it. She just knows how to handle it. Like, they basically did the same joke over and over again of, like, guys getting to kiss Kim Kardashian in every sketch. But
you know they wrote their own sketches.
Oh, you know they did. Like, I'm getting...
Was that a dream of yours? Did you ever vision yourself on SNL?
That's what the whole move to New York was about. I mean, it was I wouldn't say ignorant dream, but it was too big of a dream when I first moved out at 18. Like, getting rejected from advanced study at UCB really crushed that side of the game for me because I found it incredibly unfair. Like, I was doing so well in improv. I was doing well on my high school team. I was doing well in classes. I was always trying to uplift my teammates and stuff like that and make sure that the shine was spread. And I was really confused why, when they were doing like a diversity initiative as well, I wasn't accepted into their higher up courses. So that kind of put a bad taste in my mouth and made me want to do a lot more stand-up and try to make it that direction into Saturday Night Live, the stand-up direction, which does happen. There are stand-up comics that do break into SNL. Like, there's one right now, Punky Johnson. She was a stand-up comedian and a bartender at the Comedy Store like 2 years ago. And now she's a cast member. It does happen. Aristotle, who just joined this season, was a stand-up comedian and a director. So there's definitely a path there.
Yeah.
I would hope it at least happens in a writing aspect. I would love to write for them.
That'd be cool.
Love to just like sit in that atmosphere and work with other people and get a script going and try to make something incredibly funny for Saturday.
Yeah. You know, I remember too in those days, I was like, that would be a cool job too. Because when you're a kid, you're just trying to figure out like, what do you enjoy? Well, I like watching Saturday Night Live. I like David Letterman. I want to be a professional baseball. You know, everything that you kind of think that you want to do. And then I started to watch some of because they have on YouTube, you can watch like some of their auditions, right? And like when you watch like a Jimmy Fallon audition, right? You see just truly how talented Jimmy Fallon is, right? With impersonations and music and, you know, just his charisma, right? It's like, whoa, you don't realize how good you have to be to get onto Saturday Night Live.
You have to be one of like the 16 best improvisers and character actors. You got to be top notch.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys and gals get their training from places like Second City, Groundlings. You had mentioned the one in New York, right? So when did you start becoming a student of improv? You said, I know fifth grade. You said
eighth grade.
Eighth grade.
Eighth grade was the first time I saw it. I used to love watching the British Whose Line Is It Anyway, and then the Drew Carey Whose Line Is It Anyway. Yep. And then we took classes every week. We had an instructor come from LA down to our high school, and she would teach us improv. We had improv classes in high school. Theater program had probably some sort of improv training as well. I just liked it. It was very, very freeing, very, very easy for me at the time too. Like, now I can't do improv to save my life sometimes. It's like so hard to do improv on a stage with other people because the timing is completely different from stand-up. Sure. Stand-up timing is like joke, joke, joke. Improv timing is like continue, 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 make it bigger, make it bigger, make it bigger. Yeah. It's just a completely different muscle. So do you remember the first time that you said, hey, I'm going to do this I'm going to try the stand-up stuff? Yeah. Right? What prompted you to make that transition? Well, it was in high school. It was my senior year. Everybody was about to go off to college, and I realized that our improv team was breaking up. Everybody was going to different states, different schools, and I could see that we weren't going to see each other after this. Everybody was going on their own path. Okay. So then we said, let's do a stand-up night. And so we put on a stand-up night at our high school in the same theater where we do improv, and that's when most of us did stand up for the first time. I stole a lot of jokes from Eddie Izzard, who's a British comedian who cross dresses. And I was like, no one's going to ever know that I stole these jokes. And then I stole like some other bits from somebody else. And I think it might have been like a Robin Williams bit. And so I just like went up on stage, and it was my first time doing stand up. I'm doing all these jokes about hopscotch that I didn't write. And then I realized I was the last comedian too of the night. I put myself as the headliner, but we all did the same like 6 minutes. But then I realized I've never done stand up before. I don't know how to get off stage when doing stand up. I was like, fuck, like how do I close? I don't just walk off stage. That's not right. I don't.
You need that one joke.
I needed that joke. And then, you know, at the time it was like a little after 2001. So terrorist stuff was still big, and our school had just had a scare because this kid put like a cigarette bomb in a trash can, and the whole school got shut down. And he wasn't brown, he was an Asian guy. So somehow in the mix of everything, I just sort of said like, and the last guy who did something scary at our school was an Asian guy. And then the whole place started screaming, and then I said, good night, thank you. And then so that was the original joke, but I didn't know I was going to say it. I had no idea. I just like kind of connected the dots. Yeah. And then I just heard everybody clapping. I was like, I'm out of here.
And you were hooked.
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 And then I went to the Ice House here in Pasadena.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I took a seminar at the Irvine Improv first, and I met this guy who was just sitting next to me who gave me more advice than anybody that I saw at the seminar. He was like, you got to go to this website called chucklemonkey.com. And I was like, Chuckle Monkey? He's like, yeah, it's Chuckle Monkey. So I go to Chuckle Monkey, and it had the list of all the open mics and bringer shows in Los Angeles at the time. So it was a big deal, this little list, this little website that I wouldn't have known about. Daniel Tosh was even a speaker that night. We got to go see him live that day that night after we saw him in the seminar. It was great. Great day. And then, started going to the Ice House, doing bringer competitions before I moved to New York. And then when I went to New York.
What's a bringer competition?
A bringer competition is it's a planned night where non-professional comedians are competing for spots, basically. The way it works, it's like, who brought the most people? If you brought the most people, you're going to probably win if you're good. And then you're going to get another spot to come back and invite your friends again. It's basically a way for comedy clubs.
Comedian influencer marketing at the time.
Yeah,
sounds like, right?
I was bringing like 50 people to shows. I was bringing like 40 people to shows, like a lot. The most I ever brought was like 100 people to a show once, like friends, to put them on a guest list. But that's neither here nor there. And it's just a way to get up on stage. Yeah, so that's how I started.
Now, you got to imagine that you got to be intimidated, scared, right? Because you're sitting there watching people that you might even think are way funnier than you, right? So
I think because I came from improv, I never had that fear.
You didn't?
No, because that fear didn't matter to me as an improviser. As an improviser, you want everyone to be good because then you have a great show.
That's true.
In my stand-up philosophy, I believe that a better show is what's more important. When a comedian is like struggling and then they're like, how am I going to get out of this hole? And they decide to just like continue talking instead of just letting it go to the next person, it bothers me. So I just think it's better just to like get off the stage and let the next person come on because we're just trying to have a overall good show. So if somebody was crushing in front of me, that's good. That's like fuel. It's like, okay, good. This guy's crushing. Now go up and
he's just warming up the audience for
basically,
you, right?
yeah.
Or she, yeah. Now, have you ever bombed on stage?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I bombed so hard once. The first time I met Tiffany Haddish, do you know her?
Yeah.
So it wasn't the first time I met her. We did a school in New Jersey together. And then she said, come do my show at Pachanga, a casino here in LA. She's like, come do my room in Pachanga. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I did so well in the New Jersey show. I thought, I'm definitely going to crush this Pachanga show. And it was a room that hated me. And at one point in the set, I was like, what can I do to make you guys happy? And this lady just screams, take off your shirt. And I was like, what? She's like, take off your shirt. She got serious the second time. And I was like, oh, fine. So then I take off my shirt, and then the crowd finally gives me like, okay, you get it. Like, you're at least understanding how shit you are right now, and you're trying your best. Like, I just didn't have it. There's certain nights that, you just don't have it.
Or the audience, or just...
It could be anything. It could be a fly in the room that's bugging everybody. It could be anything at all, but I don't bank on crushing every single night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or there's that one, I'm sure you guys have stories about the one awkward laugh that kind of bugs you the whole night.
It could be anything.
Yeah, anything.
It could be literally anything. There's so many different scenarios. You could be too drunk. That's happened. Being too drunk is a big one.
Is that a thing? Do a lot of comedians when they're on stage, they're just kind of just drinking and
No. But
No?
sometimes if like, it's hard sometimes working in Vegas and, the day your friends are in town and they're not working at
a lot
night.
of celebration before you go
Up on stage. So like you're kind of drunk from like day drinking and going to Top Golf, and then maybe you just don't have it that night. It just kind of happens where you have to time everything out so perfectly to do well.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't have it. Sometimes it's totally understandable to not have it and just take an L.
So it's interesting now because you've been doing, how long you been doing stand-up?
14 years.
14 years. And do you still go and just kind of watch comedians? Like,
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not as much anymore because of the pandemic, but I love watching comedy. I mean, I don't go if I'm not performing. I should say that. I'm not like going to the club just to like hang out.
Yeah.
But if I'm performing, I will stay and watch.
You'll stay and watch
everybody. And
because you probably see from a different lens than somebody like me, right? I just come to
we just love it. It's like
right?
a language. It's just a thing. Like my friend Marielle came to a show recently and I performed and she was still sitting in the audience and I texted her like, "Are you in the room?" And I could see her, but she didn't react on her phone. And then I left, I went home and she's like, "Hey, are you still here?" And I was like, "No, I went home. I'll see you later." And then the next day we went out to brunch and I was like, "Oh yeah, I texted you because I was trying to get your attention." She's like, "Why were you trying to get my attention while I'm watching a show?" And then I was like, "Oh yeah, you're right. Like you're not doing this the same way I'm doing this. Like you came to see the show."
Yeah.
I forgot. Like she's like, "Yeah, why would I want to come talk to you while I'm watching the show?" And I was like, "Yeah, you're so," like I had to be like, "You're so right. You're so right." Like I didn't even think about it. Like, you just see it in a different lens.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
I'm in the audience watching, like laughing, but you're critiquing like, "Oh, I would have done that joke. I would have delivered it a little bit different," right? Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
it
so
could be
many
anything.
different things. So while you are, I guess, on stage and you're performing, well, actually, before I even get there, how do you even prepare like a stand-up skit? Like, is it called a skit?
A set.
A stent?
Set.
A set.
S-E-T, yeah.
Okay, see, I'm learning, right?
A set. How do you
I've
do
never
a
done
stand-up
any
set?
stand-up ever at all. Yeah.
How do you do a stand-up set?
How do you even prepare?
You
Like,
write.
So it's a lot of writing.
It's a lot of writing. It's a
Okay.
lot of work up top.
Okay.
There's a lot of work that goes in even before you hit the stage. There's like hours.
I bet.
I usually think that 1 hour of work is 1 hour of stage time.
Okay.
So if you're doing 10 minutes, you got to work on something for 10 hours to be able to get a decent 10 minutes. If you think you're just going to write down like potato chips and then like you're going to go up on stage and be like, "Guys, aren't potato chips crazy, huh? That bag isn't that bag's not full." People are just going to be like, "Okay, I'm with you. You have a point, but where's the joke?"
Yeah.
A lot of times it's just a lot of points and no jokes.
I see.
So you got to write like, "Oh, potato chips, huh? There's no bag." I don't know. It's a bad example. But yeah, you just got to work on it. You just got to work on it, and then you write down the title of each joke on a
Okay.
piece of paper. And you write like potato chip, and then Batman, and then IRS or school.
So you keep a notepad with you at all times, or your phone, or what?
My phone and a notepad. Yeah, I started with a notepad. First notepad I ever got was from my sister.
Okay.
And so I've just been adding moleskins every year,
Okay.
just like filling them out. And then my phone is good. And then usually, yeah, the phone has been more convenient, obviously. But like the notebook goes in the bag when I travel. So like the notebook is with me, but the phone is just a little bit more convenient.
So you've ever heard of Mitch Hedberg?
Oh, I love Mitch Hedberg. I have a
Right.
dream about Mitch Hedberg.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. He said something that was pretty funny. He said, you know, as a comedian, it's really tough, right? Because, you know, your mind is always racing, right? And everything you see in life could be material, right? And he goes, at nighttime, I go to bed, right? And I'll think of a joke, right? But I'm in bed. I'm in my underwear, right? And there's no pen or paper there, right? And he goes, now I got to convince myself that that joke's not funny
Yeah.
because I'm too lazy to go get a pen, right?
Yeah.
It's true.
He's the
right?
best.
He was so good. Yeah.
I have this dream about him where he comes in, I'm sitting in the green room of the Comedy Store with the old wallpaper, which was like this green wallpaper, like it looked like flowers. I'm just sitting there, and then Mitch Hedberg walks in, and he looks at me and goes, "Hey, you have an 8-ball?" And I'm like, "No." And he goes, "Ah, okay." And then he walks out. That's the whole dream. And then I wake up, And then for the longest time, I was like, did that really happen? Or was that a dream? And then I looked up when he died, and he died way before the first time I ever went to the Comedy Store.
I see.
So it must have been a dream. But it has that feeling where it's like a memory, where it's like this guy walks in, looks at me, asks me a question, and walks out. It's totally a dream, but it feels like something that's truly happened.
Hey, energy, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
So who would you say would be your top 5
Stand-ups
of all time?
Chappelle, which I know is controversial.
That's your number 1?
No, top 5.
Okay, so just top 5.
Top
no
5.
order. Okay, I got it.
Chappelle, Robin Williams, Chris Rock, Mitch Hedberg,
Okay.
George Carlin.
Huh.
Yeah. You have to, yeah. Richard Pryor doesn't make the list, unfortunately.
Eddie Murphy either.
Eddie Murphy doesn't make the list because if you watch one of his stand-up specials now, it's
pretty
tough.
different. He's a dad, right? I mean, like he's not the
it's
same
just
person.
tough. Like, what he was saying back then is just like,
you can't get away with it.
You can't get away with it. So that's why it's got to, like Robin Williams, you can watch his old stand-up specials and it's not offensive.
That's true.
Eddie Murphy's is like, whoa, you are. Again, I don't hold it against him. It was a different time, and the people are laughing. If the people were cringing and ooh, it's a different story. But people are with them, and they're hooting and hollering and having a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like pretty much everybody on the list, so that's a good top 5 for sure. I'm surprised. I know that you got to share the stage with somebody that had a pretty popular TV show.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
You want me to tell you that story?
I would love that story.
So I'm working at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club in Las Vegas.
Okay.
It was it's my home club basically in Vegas. This is the place that I've worked the most. And this is the first week that I'm featuring. I've usually been a host, so I would be the first comic on stage. But September 10th through the 17th of 2019, I got to do my first feature week. It's the second night. It's Tuesday night. And I walk into the green room, and there's a giant fruit platter in the green room. And I'm like, we don't get a fruit platter. I don't know what this fruit platter is about, but we're not fruit platter material.
Yeah.
So then I asked the manager, Ed, I was like, Ed, what's going on? He goes, we have a special guest coming in tonight. I was like, who?
The fruit platter gave it away. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, the fruit platter was like, that's not normal.
I love it.
There's white linen on the table. I was like, no. There's candy for us. We're a candy comedian crew. And they're like, Dave Chappelle. They were like, Jerry Seinfeld's coming. I was like, get out of here. And he's like, no, he's coming. He's coming tonight. And we're like, really? And he's like, yeah, he's gonna be here. And I was like, wow. Like incredible.
Yeah.
And then 15 minutes later, Seinfeld walks in with George Shapiro, his long time manager, which was an even bigger deal to see George Shapiro. George Shapiro was like, he's got to be close to 90.
Sure.
Walks in, grabs a piece of watermelon. I was like, boom, that's who the fruit platter is for. It's not even for Seinfeld. It's for George Shapiro. And it was his younger manager as well. This guy whose name, I can't think of it. But yeah. And then all of a sudden he's in the room. He's like, the green room is decorated really well with a lot of stand-up history. There's a picture of the whole cast of Seinfeld where they're all wearing like black turtlenecks and their faces are black and white. It's like a pretty common image. If you look up Seinfeld, like you'll see this, it'll come up. And then he just like looks at it and goes, I remember when we took that. And it's like, of course you remember when you took that. That's you in the photo.
Yeah.
So he's like not really talking to a lot of people. He's just kind of hanging around. All of a sudden, everybody walks out of the room and it's just him and I. And he just like turns around and he looks at me and he's like, where did everybody go? And I was like, I'm still here. And then he starts laughing. And then he's like, then he starts talking to me. And the normal questions like, where'd you grow up? All that stuff. Yeah. And we just chatted for a few minutes. The host is on stage and the host finishes. Seinfeld goes on and I'm freaking out at this point. I'm just like so excited. I got to talk to him for a few minutes.
Sure.
It was just the two of us in this green room. And he does about 15, 20. And he walks off stage and the host goes back out. He looks at me, he goes, what's your name? And I'm like, Omid Singh. He goes, Omid Singh? I was like, yeah. He goes, okay, I'll keep an eye out for you. And I was like, cool, thanks. He just like shakes my hand. I knew not to take a photo with him because
he doesn't do that?
He doesn't do photos.
Okay.
So just shook his hand. And then I go up on stage and the audience gives me like a, And I just go, nobody wants to be me right now. And then they start clapping really loud. They're just like happy about that joke that I like said, I'm following Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And then I got to do 15 minutes and I crushed. I just did like this, like I did all my best material. I just did everything that I knew was going to be at that caliber of what I had to do, even though he was kind of doing new stuff and kind of working out material.
Yeah.
I just knew I couldn't waste any of these people's times. They just watch Seinfeld. They're really giving me a lot of grace.
Oh, sure.
So I just did my best 15 minutes. Carrot Top was in the audience.
Okay.
He comes backstage afterwards. He's like, great set, man. I was like,
wow.
you're Carrot Top.
You're at like a high.
Yeah,
in
it was,
your career,
it was
right?
it was
like
a high
point.
Yeah, Brad texted me and he said like, you got to follow the king tonight and you did really well. Like we were
See, I would have
watching
went, my mind automatically goes like, what am I going to say when I get on stage? I would have been like, just want to thank the new guy, Jerry, for opening up for me, right?
Yeah,
you know? But I guess you had a little bit more respect.
Yeah. No, you got to be self-deprecating. It's got to
Right?
be, yeah, nobody wants to be me right now. I thought it was such a good line.
That's a great
they
line.
loved it. And I was like, yes, good.
I
now
love
just
it.
do the bits. I even like flubbed like 2 lines and 2 bits. And that's when I'd be like, Jerry Seinfeld, everybody. Like, come on, I'm having a great night because this guy's here. Like,
Yeah.
even though I flubbed a couple lines.
So recently I got to see John Mulaney. Is that how you pronounce his name? Yeah. They flew him out to perform at a legal conference. I do like speaking at, and so they flew him out, and he gets on stage, and boy was he so prepared, man. Like it's almost like he wrote material just for this conference. It was so good. And like we've had other comedians like in years past that like were famous comedians, but they were just kind of just delivering their Netflix specials and stuff like that. But I thought it was really interesting that he took the time to kind of write a special set for this. Maybe he was just getting paid a lot of money and that's why. But
hey man, money talks.
Yeah.
If you're getting paid a lot of money to do a private event, you might as well be prepared.
Do you customize your material sometimes?
Absolutely.
Do you?
Yeah. Whatever it may be. If you have enough time, if someone's like the day before being like, you want to do this dentist convention, I'd be like, well, I guess, but it's going to be a lot of jokes about me being brown. If you give me a couple of months about a heads up about this dentist convention, I could probably do pretty well. Yeah, you got to tailor to them. I don't think about it being my show. I think about being entertaining people. You got to do what makes the room happy.
So what makes because there's a lot of comedians.
Oh yeah.
Right? You know, but what separates the 1%? Like what really separates? Is it more of their marketing ability or?
I mean, the first word that came to mind was love.
Okay.
I think love has a lot to do with it. Because that top 1%, they're being carried by their theaters and their stadiums and their auditoriums that are watching them. Like that's a lot of love in that room. Your Kevin Hart and your Chappelle and I don't know, whoever's huge selling out arenas. Yeah, it's a lot of people that are sharing energy.
Okay.
I mean, marketing of course is great, but I think you can market anything.
Yeah, you can.
But you could, if you were trying to have like the lasting career, which is what I'd say most comedians are going for. Nobody wants to blow up and then stop touring. People want to sustain it for life.
Sure.
That's how you make true wealth, I would say, is like always making money doing what you love doing. And I think love, that's the answer. I know that's cheesy, but I think that's the true.
It's a good answer.
It's a true answer to me.
Yeah. So what's up with roast battling? I see this on your resume.
Oh,
here.
yeah. Roast battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big roast battler, which is, again, also has a lot to do with preparing. Like, so you find a partner, and then you schedule out a battle a few weeks in advance. Okay. And then you get up at the Comedy Store.
I'm thinking like Eminem, like 8 Mile right now.
There's a lot of Eminem 8 Mile references that go by. There's a lot of like, you spilled food on your spaghetti or like on your sweater already or whatever. There's a lot of like making fun of each other. I just did it like 2 Tuesdays ago at the Comedy Store.
Did you?
Yeah, with this guy named Los Digits.
Okay.
And he's like the up and coming like guy who's like challenging. And I've been doing it for 5 years now. Like I started like the second week it was around, and back then we were doing it for spots at the Comedy Store. Okay. So it'd be like you battle and then you come back like a week later and you get to do a stand-up set.
How do you know who wins?
The audience decides.
The audience
There's an audience or there's judges. If it's a main event, then there's a panel of professional comedians that judge you. Okay. But if you're an undercard, then it's up to the judges, up to the audience to vote who wins. So it's like,
is there like a bracket kind of a thing?
There's a leaderboard.
Is there really?
Yeah. I'm up there, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I would love to come see you rap battle.
Not rap battle.
Not rap battle. Roast battle. Roast battle. I'd like to see you rap battle too.
No beats, please. No, it's fun. I do it every like 3 months now. That's like my normal.
They're really fun to watch, man. Like when you see like the Justin Bieber
Yeah.
getting roasted on stage,
Yeah.
and they're great.
Yeah, it's a good energy. I mean, it's the last place where you can say some nasty things on stage because you're not shocking anybody. You're telling people up front, this is going to be, like the host Brian Moses says, this is racist, this is sexist, this is misogynistic. Like, but it's jokes because at the end of the battle, we hug. He makes it a point to be like, we're saying these things because we love each other and because we're having a good time. We're not actually trying to hurt each other's feelings. There are certain guys that'll go up there and try to hurt somebody's feelings, and the audience just isn't into it. Like if you just go up there and you call your mom fat, they're like, no, like it's that, you can't just do that. You got to actually say something funny and mean to the person. It's like high school or middle school or elementary school bullying. Like it's just like this fun thing that there's a community for it here in LA. There's like 40 of us that love doing it, and we do it as much as we can.
Well, I'm going to give you my cell phone, and next time you're going to do that, let me know. I'd love to come see it for sure.
You don't need to give me your phone. Just give me your number. How am I going to call you if you give me your cell phone?
Take a drink of water, and we're going to play another game here. What's that? I know, right? Somebody robbed the bank. All right, so little birdie told me that you have a favorite improv game called the Beastie Boy Rap.
Oh, would you look at that? Who would tell you such a thing?
There's only 4 of us in the room, right? So I've never heard of the Beastie Boy
Boy Rap, yeah. So this would be a opener improv game when we would do these high schools. Mm-hmm. You want me to explain it?
Yes, please.
So it would be like we get a 1-syllable name from somebody in the room.
Okay.
Then I say a sentence, and I'm going to leave out the last word. But the last word rhymes with that 1-syllable name. So I'm going to give you a clue, and then you have to say that 1-syllable name, and then you say a sentence, and then I guess it. Okay. You'll get it.
Got it.
So can we get a 1-syllable name from somebody in the room?
Jenna.
Mark.
No, I'm saying Jenna, give me the... Go ahead. Mark.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
He's in Iron Man. His name is Tony...
I don't know the Iron Man
Stark.
guy. Stark.
Stark.
Oh, see, I've already lost the big
It's okay.
game.
Let's try another one.
Oh, this is how Beastie Boys comes up with their lyrics.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Let's do...
If it falls off a tree, it's wooden. It's called...
If it falls off a tree and it's wooden, it's called...
Bark.
A bark. I'm a little slow here.
J.
Okay.
When you sleep in your bed, you're usually going to...
Lay. Got it.
Now you give me a clue with
About
word.
the word J? Okay. I did so well at the comedy club. I'm going to get...
Paid?
Yes.
Okay. Stretch. It used to be an old football stadium in New York. I think it's called...
Shay.
Yeah.
I took my kids to the park and we would...
Play.
Oh,
yeah. If you mix water with, I think, dirt, you can make... you can make ceramics out of it. Let's call it...
Clay. Got it.
Dirt? Is that how you make clay? I think so.
I've got 6 big horses and they eat...
Hey!
This is going to be a great song. See? I like this.
I'm not going to leave. I'm going to...
Stay. All right. That was awesome. I love it.
Let's do one more name. Want to do Matt?
Matt?
Sure, Matt.
Okay.
You start this time, I'll guess.
My first girlfriend wasn't skinny. She was...
If you go to jail for snitching on your friends, you're
Rat.
yeah.
Yep. I appreciate your wardrobe. You wore a...
Hat?
Yeah.
I'm not really a dog person. I'm more of a...
Cat.
Yeah.
let's see here. I go to Vegas and I play
Craps.
Yeah, that's a stretch, right? That's a stretch. Yeah, I was
We're
just in
gonna
Vegas.
give you the stretch logo.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
That's a fun game, man. I'm
Beastie
gonna
Boy
play
Rap.
that with my friends.
Go
It's
ahead.
like our drinking game now.
Oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's a fun one.
Come up with some lyric. It's funny because my son is writing. He was writing a song, right? And man, like it's so hard to come up with lyrics to like songs like that, man. Like, and so that's a good little game here.
What's his artist name?
He just goes by his name is just Zach Hennessey, but he puts like his A in like a circle and it comes out, and so that's kind of his little like slogan, I guess.
Cool.
So yeah, he's got a song that drops on Friday. It's called "Wasted in L.A."
Whoa.
Sounds pretty good too. I'll send it to you once it comes out. It drops next Friday.
Cool.
So let's talk a little bit about, first of all, your mother. I seen a
Jason. First of all, your mother. Okay, I might have to go.
No, I seen an Instagram post, and I think it was in Vegas, and you had your mom there and a whole crew. What was going on?
So that was recently. I was back in Vegas, and Brad Garrett was there.
Okay.
And my mom takes tango lessons.
Okay.
So she's big into tango right now. That's like her new hobby for the last few years. And there's a really famous tango instructor in Las Vegas. So now when I work, she comes and gets a room, thanks to the club, and goes and takes these tango lessons. So she was there, and yeah, I had a host of friends in town, and it was amazing.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you were performing there? Where do you perform usually?
At Brad's.
At Brad's
Yeah.
Comedy Club.
Brad Garrett's
Where is
Comedy
that
Club.
at?
It's at the MGM, at the Grand.
I'll be
Yeah.
there in 2 weeks.
Hell yeah.
Will you be there?
No, I'll be there end of November through the first week of December.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you go, where do you stay? Just at the hotel? the
They
whole
stay.
time?
They keep us at the Signature, which is really nice.
So nice. So your mom, she also, in addition to tango, she does energy healing.
Yeah, she's a Reiki master.
So what does that even mean?
Reiki is a type of healing where you don't actually touch the body of the person you're healing. It's like you energy field above people.
Okay.
So it's just a lot of like energy transformation.
So you grew up all about energy then, I imagine.
Basically, yeah. I mean, we all grew up all about energy, to be honest.
But most people aren't aware of it.
They don't talk about it. Yeah, yeah. We talked about it a lot. There's a lot of like fields and auras, and my mom had a machine, or still has a machine, where you can put your hand on it and then it checks your electromagnetic energy field.
Yeah.
You can tell you what color it is, how aligned you are. It's pretty impressive. It's pretty cool.
I'm a big energy guy.
Yeah.
And I haven't been growing up or anything. I wasn't aware of it, I guess.
Then
but
you came to
nowadays,
California, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Right.
Yeah.
But nowadays, so like it was really interesting. So I was with I'll just share a quick story, right? So I was with a friend of mine, and he's on the phone with his son, and the phone's like, it's just like, he's at a 17-year-old son, and the son was upset because like the coach, his water polo coach, was yelling at him, right? And so like, anyway, so what happened was, like, I guess he came late to the water polo class or something, and the coach got upset with him. So then he got upset, and he was kind of passing the negative energy to Brian on the phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then Brian gets up the phone and goes, I can't believe this, man, my kid and this. But I'm like, dude, let's just break this negative energy chain here, right? Because it's so real, right? It's so contagious, right? And so I'm like, this is what you need to do. You need to go back to your son, and you need to teach your son how to break that negative energy chain right there, because you can see it's passing over to you. It's going to ruin your day. Now it's going to ruin my day, right? So it's so powerful when you can kind of be aware of that.
I would just beat up the coach.
I would have just beat him.
He started it. What's
See?
his coach doing? What?
You ever heard of the book Miracle Mornings by Hal Elrod?
I can't say that I have.
Yeah. It's a good book. He almost died. Drunk driver crashed into his car head on. They said he wasn't going to live. Then they said he wasn't going to walk, right? And so he took this method of kind of like using his mornings, right? And there's like 6 principles that he follows. But one of the things that he said was really impactful is that whenever you're upset about something, you've got 5 minutes just to kind of be pissed off, throw things at the wall, yell, scream, curse, right? But after the 5 minutes, guess what? You can't change what happened, right?
5 minutes is a small window.
It is a small window.
5 minutes?
Yeah, but
That's
that's
a
all you
small
should really
window.
dedicate to things that kind of go wrong in your life. So
5 minutes?
yeah,
You have to get over it in
That's-
5 minutes?
try it.
Oh,
Try
man.
it for a week. Try it for a week.
I could see 30. In
you can't
5
even break
minutes?
things in 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, 5 minutes. I'm stewing. I'm like thinking about that shitty thing that just happened. 30 minutes, I can get over something. We're like, five. Okay.
What
I'll
are
trust
some? What are some like some of the, I guess, skills that your mom has taught you about kind of living life like that? That interesting.
It's everything. Not letting anything rattle you.
Okay.
That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of rolling with it, because most of our problems, we're lucky enough that it's like, small problems in the scheme of things.
Yep.
Whether it's, not getting an email back or something like that, it's not the end of the world.
Sure.
There's people that have a lot more issues, and it could be us too. But at the moment, it's more like just you can deal with it. Just be smart. A lot about being calm,
Yeah.
being understanding, caring about others. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
So it sounds like you were raised right. You were raised mostly with your mom, or
Both, yeah. Parents,
mom and dad?
Mom and dad, yeah.
But your dad passed.
Yeah, he passed away 4 years ago.
Sorry. Yeah. My
Yes.
dad passed away a couple months ago, like
Oh,
recently.
damn.
Yeah. Yeah. And my dad and I never.
How long did it take you to get over it? 5 minutes? Terrible thing.
Ooh, let's see. Touche.
See?
Right?
You can't just be
Yeah.
like, oh, it's
That's
shitty thing
true. I
happened.
guess grieving, could that be fall differently? I guess that might be categorized a little differently.
Are you already grieving, or have you put it aside and you're waiting for the right time to grieve?
I've accepted it, I
You've
guess.
accepted it.
Yeah, I think I've accepted it.
Yeah.
My grandfather died just then, like a month later, and he was more of my father
Jeez.
figure. It was just a rough year. Yeah, it was a rough year. He was 94. He lived a great life. So that was more of a celebration of his life
Yeah.
instead of a death. But what? So what did your dad do for a living? What did your mom do for a living?
My mom was a Reiki master,
So that was what she got paid to do. That was
Yeah.
her job. Okay.
and my dad just did a lot of import-exporting from all around the world from a young age. He started by selling bus parts in Iran long time ago.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you came up from a multicultural family,
Yeah,
right?
my dad was married before he met my mom, and
Okay.
then my mom had to escape Iran and went to India.
Okay.
Then they fell in love. They got married in Germany. Then
Huh.
they moved to Chicago, had my sister. Then my mom went to go visit San Diego, called my dad. I was like, I'm never coming back to Chicago. Like, you got to come to San Diego. And he moved, and then I was born. Then we went on this crazy life road trip for
No
20-something
brothers or
years.
sisters.
One older sister.
Oh, you have one older sister.
Yeah.
Sounds like a movie I would watch.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think it'd be a good one.
Yeah. Sounds like that.
Yeah.
So if your life was a book, what would this chapter be right now? What would it be called?
The beginning.
The beginning.
Yeah.
Just getting started.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything up until this point led me to the beginning. This is where it all starts.
Yeah. Always. Every day is pretty much just a continuation. And
Don't look back, right?
I mean, look back, but you have to look forward.
Yeah, you do.
Otherwise, you're going to hit a pole.
Yeah. If
You
you're
gotta-
driving with your head turned backwards the whole time, you're
I
going
mean,
to
I love looking back, though. I love looking back at what my family's done. I love looking back at what I've done. But I know there's so many things left. There's just so many things left. I don't think I'll ever cross everything off the list, but there's just a lot of things in front of me that I want to do.
So fast forward. How old are you?
Right now?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to tell? This is a podcast.
Okay. Well,
What if people try to
all right.
age me or something?
Well, maybe
like
we
that?
won't do that. Okay. So let's just say fast forward 10 years.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself? Still doing comedy?
Yeah. Comedy for sure.
Forever.
Forever.
You'll be 80 years old,
Oh,
still getting up on
Still
the stage.
going to the clubs.
Okay.
Still trying to get up and do sets. No question about it.
Okay.
That's like the thing. Like if I'm waiting for the day that I no longer have to fight for spots, where spots are given to me.
Got
That's
it.
like still a struggle.
Mhm.
It's like just making it to that level is incredible, and then do stand up forever. Yeah. I mean, you can tell that it's going to happen because there's the old guys that are doing it still to this day. Like they still love doing it. If
Sure.
Seinfeld's still doing stand up at his age and he made all that money and is so successful, what's going to keep me from doing it? Like, of course,
He doesn't need to do it, right?
He doesn't need to do it. He loves doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I fall under that category. I just
Interesting.
love that feeling of people sitting in a room and that microphone and just going to town.
Okay. Well, that is good. We're going to end the show with one last game.
Great.
And this is a fun one. It's called Would You Rather, right? Where I give you two choices and you've got to answer. And there might be a follow-up question to each.
Let's do it.
All right. So would you rather be forced to listen to the same 10 songs on repeat for the rest of your life or watch the same 5 movies on repeat for the rest of your life?
Oh, that's awful.
It is awful.
That's really bad. And I don't get to hear any other songs.
That's it for the rest of your life.
I got to watch those same 5 movies.
5 movies.
Yeah, because music, you can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll watch the same 5 movies, yeah.
So what's the one movie?
Titanic.
Titanic's
in there. You gotta put Titanic in there.
Okay. I wouldn't have seen you as a Titanic kind of a guy.
The Rock. Heat.
Okay, that's a good one.
We got to put like a kids film in there, something like that. Something.
Toy Story or something. Maybe?
Yeah, but not. Those are the 3 that come to mind. Of like.
Okay.
I guess those are the 3.
Titanic.
Titanic's a great film. If you think about it, Titanic's got it.
The first time I seen Titanic, it was me and a buddy of mine, right? And it's like it's opening night. We're in high school, and the movie comes out, and there's like all these couples and stuff. And me and my buddy walk in. We're like, "What the heck's going on in here?" I look over. He's crying at the end of the movie. I'm like, "What is happening right now?" Right?
I just saw the funniest thing on TikTok about how Rose is actually the worst character in like cinema history because she gets invited on this ship because this guy has been looking for this diamond like his whole life, and he's got investors, and like he invites them onto the ship, her and the granddaughter, and then like she tells this 2-day long story about how she smashed this guy while she was engaged to another guy on this ship, and we're all like feeling bad for her. And then she takes the diamond and just chucks it in the water, and then she dies. And instead of like going to heaven and meeting up with like her husband that she had that granddaughter with and all those kids with, she gets to go to heaven with the guy she fucked for one weekend on a cruise. And that's the ending of her life. Like, it's like, what? It's just so funny. It was just so funny.
Celine Dion made that song even more famous than it was, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that was one of your songs, the Celine Dion song. There you go. If it was music. Let's see here. Would you rather have a time machine or a teleporter?
I mean, what's the difference, right? If I have a time machine, I can go back to when I was supposed to be somewhere.
No, the time machine doesn't go backwards.
Where does it go forward?
No, I'm sorry. The time machine goes backwards. The teleprompter goes forwards. Yes.
The teleporter.
Teleporter. Yeah. What did I say?
Teleporter. So it's not switching locations for me. It's taking me to a further time in history. Is that what we're saying? No, teleporter
takes you wherever you want to go.
From one place to another.
That's
like if I want to go to San Diego right now, I go to the teleporter and boom.
Yeah, we're totally messing this up.
I might as well go teleporter. I think
Okay.
like I want to go to Easter Island, but I really don't want to do the 27 hours or 20 hours it takes to get there.
I think I'd choose teleporting as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Right?
time machine sounds fun because you get to go back.
I guess you go anywhere, forwards, backwards, right? Or I guess so, right?
What if you go too far forward and then
It's like
it's just like there's an explosion where you go.
you can't get back.
You're done.
Right? Yeah, you're right. Got to think of these questions. Would you rather hop around on one foot for the rest of your life or always have to squat when you walk?
Squat? like a workout squat?
Yeah.
Squat. Oh yeah, I want buns of steel. Squat. And it doesn't hurt me, or does it hurt after a while?
I guess after a while you're used to it, right?
So I can take like 50 steps a day. Because I have to squat every time. Man, though, my legs would be in shape.
Yeah. Go try it for a week.
I'm going to try it from here to the car. That's going to be so uncomfortable. I'm going to call you guys and be like, can you drive me somewhere?
Would you rather, speaking of the Beastie Boys, in our song that we created, that's going to be a greatest seller. Would you rather speak in rhymes for the rest of your life or speak in riddles?
I don't think anybody could handle me if I spoke in riddles. So I'm going to go with rhymes.
I think so.
People would be really upset.
Yeah.
Somebody at Starbucks, like, what's your name? You're like, is it my name you need? Or the size of my drink? I don't know. It's not even a riddle.
Okay, so you only could purchase used underwear for the rest of your life or used toothbrushes?
Well, I can wash underwear. I could wash a toothbrush too.
I'm going underwear, man.
I think I'm going underwear.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully they're black underwear.
So you can really see the cum.
Yeah.
That's on his underwear.
Exactly.
Can I say cum on the
Talking about the stuff in the back.
Oh, you're talking about poop. Wow, we were thinking about two different holes.
All right. Last question. I think I know the answer to this based on how you answered the first question. But would you be rather trapped in a romantic comedy with your enemies or trapped in a horror movie with your friends?
I'm going to go horror movie with my friends. That seems more realistic.
Okay. I thought you were going to go the whole Titanic
but I want
ship.
Why would I want my enemies around my love story?
Push them off the boat, right? You get on the boat first.
If I'm Jack, though, it's not looking good for the ending of this story. If I'm in my Titanic love story, it gets a little chilly by the end of my story. I'd rather be in the horror movie and just hopefully one of our friends makes it out, right?
Yeah.
Guessing most of us perish. But
exactly. One. Awesome, man. This was so much fun, man.
Thanks for having me.
So awesome. I love hearing your story, how you became a comic. Heck, I might even try stand up myself here.
Do it.
Yeah.
Just practice before you go up on stage, or just have a funny idea.
Awesome. Well, tell everybody how they can find out more information about you to come see you at a show.
You can find me on Instagram at Omid Singh or on Spotify. I'm kidding. I was thinking about that on the way over here. I was like, how come a lot of comics are like, yeah, you can find me on Instagram, but nobody ever goes like, yeah, follow me on Spotify. Yeah, you can follow me anywhere. Omid Singh. I think that's, I don't know.
Easy
peasy.
And you promote your shows on Instagram where you're going to be?
Yeah,
or what?
website.
Okay.
Omidsingh.com.
Awesome.
Instagram. Twitter barely. Just not into it. Not my bag.
Me neither.
I like doing it from other people's accounts. That's way more fun.
Exactly.
Something about doing it from my own account, I'm like, nobody cares. Nobody cares right now.
Well, I can't wait to come see you, man.
Thanks.
So thanks for coming on the show.